This time on Filmmaker. This program is brought to you in part by Oolite Arts, What Miami is Made Of, and by Friends of South Florida PBS.
Wade in the Water, Drowning in Racism is the story of the struggles that took place here in South Florida to desegregate the beaches and the swimming pools, and also about the spiritual connection that people of African descent have had from the beginning of time with the water.
Do you believe me if I told you black freedom lies at the bottom of the deepest ocean? That if you swim far enough, deep enough, fast enough, past the blue and into the black, you will find the abandoned treasures of our ancestors waiting patiently to be reclaimed. All you have to do is swim.
So as we stand here at this mangrove forest at the beach, it reminds me of what the existence was for indigenous people, black and brown people, throughout the Americas, North and South, throughout the Caribbean, as well as Africa and any tropical climate near the equator throughout the world, where black and brown people had relationships with the water. Because most civilizations were founded near major bodies of water. Most people on a daily basis had a relationship with water daily. By choice, they set up their habitats near and on water. And when I say on water, I mean literally. There's some African tribes and some tribes in other parts of the world that created huts on stilts to be in the water, on the water, under the water. And when I say under the water, I also mean literally. And we're talking about ancient times, pre-colonial, pre-slave trade, pre-European conquest, where the indigenous people were still intact in their everyday lifestyle, and they would swim on the water. They would navigate on the water also with canoes and small boats. They would swim under the water, where they would dive down and get crustaceans for part of their ceremonies, for food, for sustenance. Some of these things were also traded, so then they had relationships with other people. So they traveled on the water. They used water for bathing, for hygiene, for recreation, for leisure, and for spiritual practices. So there was a deep daily relationship with water, and that was the norm. Even here in the Americas, the indigenous people that here in South Florida, the Tequester, they inhabited all this land here. These facts are not in dispute, and we've learned this over the time that this information was being collected and gathered by a collection of researchers and resources that brought it to our attention. We now know it's undisputed fact that people, black and brown people, people of the African diaspora, were powerful, solid swimmers. They had a swimming culture. They had a water culture. They had a marine culture if they were near the coastal areas. They had relationships with lakes and rivers. Then something disrupted that. So their dominance, or as the swimmers of the world and the aquatic people of the world, was impacted by European conquest.
Arrested Negro and white demonstrators clad in bathing suits jumped into the pool. Brock, frantic with rage, began dumping an acid cleaning agent into the water, apparently without harmful effect to the uninvited swimmers. Finally, an off-duty policeman leaped into the pool and began swinging at the demonstrators. The swimmers were dragged roughly from the water to waiting police vans. WCKT newsman Roger Burnham, who filmed these scenes, was manhandled and threatened by a white observer. He was struck twice by law enforcement officers.